Anyone who clicked on this video would almost surely consider themselves to be an NBA fan over here on the furthest steps of basketball YouTube. That then raises the question, what truly constitutes an NBA fan? In a very broad, general sense, a fan can be described and defined as one who has at least a very loose interest in the game of basketball. And there are absolutely varying degrees to it, but with that fandom, with that interest, comes two sides. On one end, there's the positive side of watching it, where you're just pointing out and recognizing what players are doing well. Then on the other end, there's the critical side of it, the criticism, pointing out, more so noticing what players may be doing wrong or circumstances that you do not deem to be favorable. And both of these perspectives are really good within moderation. When you're somewhere in the middle, that's a good spot where you can really properly break down the game as well as the context behind it. You can point out what a player or a team is doing well, but at the same time recognize what they may be doing wrong and what they may need to improve on. However, it's not always that easy to be in the middle, and I found myself falling into this trap. Controversy sells quite a bit of the time. The first thing that ever got over a couple thousand views for me, the one of only two things to ever do that for me so far, was one about what's going on with Travis Kelce when he got off to a slow start to the NFL season. And routinely, I fell back into, I have a very positive life. I'm very thankful for a lot of things, and I try to reflect that in all that I do. But when it comes down to breaking down the NBA, why all of a sudden do I just spin that into negativity? And not only does that affect something like this, but it really affects your viewing experience as well. Because in theory, you're watching the game you love. You may find it entertaining. You may have played it when you were younger. There is some connection to basketball, at least some connection to some kind of team or some player that keeps you coming back and watching. Even just for a fleeting moment. But if you are continually just looking and looking for things to criticize, then that inhibits your entire experience in viewing it, because you're not looking at the positives, you're not enjoying the game. Instead, it becomes easier to nitpick and just point out when a player does something wrong. And that is not a rewarding way to watch the game. Because no matter what you do, you're just not necessarily feeling that joy, that excitement in watching, as well as you would when you had a more nuanced and middle ground perspective. So in realizing this, I stepped back and asked myself, why is this? Why, when I have such a positive outlook on things, so optimistic in my day-to-day life, why, when it comes to watching the sport that I love, do I always find something to criticize and something that just brings it down, the viewing experience, and makes it just not as memorable for me, when this is something that is designed to make so many memories and has for so many people? And for me, I found two major reasons. The first one was social media and really just being on my phone in general. Because no matter what you're doing on there, it's always looking to give you that instant hit of dopamine. And I really realized this in watching a Timberwolves game the other day, as well as Game 6 in the series between Detroit and New York. I would be watching the game, and then I would gravitate towards my phone. And next thing you know, I'm on Instagram or something else, scrolling with no real thought in mind, just mindlessly scrolling through, not recognizing what I'm doing, not recognizing what of any kind of value I'm getting out of this, doing it just to do it. Because there's some bright colors and there are some headlines right there, right in front of my eyes. And then I would hear in the very background commentary, we were talking about some amazing play that just happened, or in the Detroit game, how Malik Beasley had hit a buzzer beater right before the half, and I had missed it just looking at my phone. And there was a growing narrative about the loss of our attention spans. I think that absolutely rings true. I wasn't even able to stay focused on the game that I love watching. And then when you are on social media, not only is a lot of it some mindless scrolling, but at the same time, those headlines I was talking about, they are often so sensationalized. And this can be heavily attributed to sports media in particular. making everything sound like it's this uber dramatic situation and critiquing every player, putting them under a microscope, under a magnifying glass, and pointing out every single thing that they do wrong. And when that happens, it can really alter your perspective on the game, because you're just seeing these players, but you're not really seeing the full game. You're just seeing a moment where they might have messed up. And people talking about how the game is on a downhill spiral. And then the game that is in the background on your TV just doesn't seem as interesting anymore. And you keep scrolling on Instagram and you keep seeing that. And you get less and less excitement from the game, because what if you scroll and there's something new and exciting that is going to really tickle your dopamine receptors? And another factor that I had recognized was really inhibiting my enjoyment of the game was outside factors from the environment around me, from the life around me. And once again, I am one that has a positive outlook on life, but you can love life all you want. There's no guarantee that it's going to love you back, and there's going to be hardship and question marks about your value and what you're really bringing. Do I need to work a job? Do I need to make money now? Or do I want to be free for perhaps the last fleeting moments of my life? As a junior high school coming up on summer, that's a question that is really in the back of my mind in each and everything that I do. And these outside factors in social media, they combine to make watching the game of basketball seem just like another chore, just another thing that you need to do, that you need to get done in your busy life that doesn't take any breaks for you. So why should you take a break to watch the game, even if you love it so, so dearly? But that's just the thing. Sometimes you do need a break. Because when you are watching sports on your TV, that is an escapism from the outside world. A moment where you are brought back to your childhood self, when everything on that screen seemed larger than life, and you wanted to grow up and you wanted to be Shaquille O'Neal, to be Michael Jordan, to be LeBron James, because you were watching them on TV, and they seemed so cool, they seemed so much larger than life, they were superstars in your eyes. And you had big dreams, and you were not yet brought down by the world. You did not have any societal expectations. You do not have a question of what your value is, what you should be doing with your life. Sports are supposed to be a break from that, in which you can sit down and watch a game from your favorite team, from your favorite players, or even just any game because you love the sport itself. To be a break from those distractions and just a moment of calmness and serenity in a life that gives you no breaks for the most part. So what did I do? I put my phone on silent. And I tried to do all that I could to forget about what may have been going on around me and just sit back and watch a game. And it was really fun. I got to see Jalen Brunson hit a game winner. And then after that, it's a competitive game between the Clippers and the Nuggets. There is still enjoyment to be found in this game if you allow it to be what it was for the longest time, an escapism, and not a reflection of your life. So if you are trying to find enjoyment in the NBA again, here's what I recommend to you. First of all, do something to calm your mind. If you need something religious, go pray. If you need something spiritual, go meditate. If you're one that gets caught up in nature, go for a walk, go for a hike, or just sit down on your front lawn and feel the wind as it blows by and look up at the blue sky with the green grass below you and just take it all in for a moment and relieve yourself of the anxieties of the world. And then once you've done that, once you have done whatever you need to do to calm yourself, calm your mind, turn on that NBA game and put your phone away. Put it on silent so you won't even be tempted to get on it. If you may need to hear from your boss, your family, or your significant other, go ahead and put on Do Not Disturb and allow that contact to reach you. But other than that, do not be on your phone. Put it in a position where you're not going to be tempted to reach for it and to get on it. Instead, just take in the moment and watch a game for once. And bring that joy back and feel that enjoyment once again, that spark, that passion for the game that you once had as a kid. When you were not worried about societal pressures, not worried about all these distractions and what value you bring to the world. Instead, allow the game to be bigger than that. Allow the game to be an escape for just once in your life. This world may never slow down for you. This world may never love you. So do not chase fleeting, insignificant things and trying to love it back. Instead, allow yourself a break for just one night one night a week maybe, to be a kid again and feel that wonder, feel that awe, not worried about criticizing the game, but instead taking everything in, the good and the bad, and living in that world. Not the world in which you're worried about finances, what you're doing with your life, but instead a world for just one night revolving around the game that you love, and reinvigorate that spark within you. Because at the end of the day, we're all just trying to get by, and you deserve some time with whatever you love the most. Thank you if you've made it this far. Now go out there and be great in whatever it is that you desire to do. And never forget to hold out time for what you love the most.